Siblings. Tom Hanks on SNL. Tom Hanks is Leander Katie's favorite actor.
Should we do it all in whispers, like an ASMR podcast?
Well, we probably would get more viewers that way.
That's right.
What the? So
Anything to make it more entertaining than it actually is.
Yeah.
But
I just opened the activity monitor and it says the Skype
we're live,
helper.
by the way. Okay.
Yeah, it says the Skype helper is using 107% of my CPU.
Well, that might be your problem.
That seems impossible.
That seems entirely possible for Skype.
It's up to 109%.
We know that we're ready to begin when Lewis starts complaining about his Mac. Oh, that I forgot to post the CultCast bingo card that Konoth made for us. I've got it. I got to post a link to it so that people can play CultCast bingo, and it's just a bunch of squares of things that happen throughout each show. And I think one of them was Lewis complains about his Mac, Lewis sighs.
Wow, someone already got like 3 of them already.
and then he also made one of the squares. Airfon uses the word apropos incorrectly, which
Oh, that hurts.
I take great umbrage to.
Yeah,
I never
know.
used
Some of them were
apropos
kinda-
incorrectly. Yeah.
Some of them kind of mean, weren't they? Leander
Yeah.
Stubbs.
A little close to the bone.
Oh, did he say Leander stutters?
I didn't know it was a stutter.
There's one that says Leander looks like a cross-eyed jerk. Check. Lewis looks like an idiot. There's like 3 boxes. Airfon's a moron. Check that. All done. You don't even have to listen to the show.
That's the free one in the center, right?
Yeah. I think the guy who made it is from 95 Mac. He's one of the guys from 95. Shout out to Brooks Saringa. Level Remix is here. Mooperson. Level Remix again. Ulysses Martinez. Favor. Pavel. To Xena. Oh man, Pavel's a great name. Do you know who also was named Pavel? Lewis? Any idea?
Pavel?
Pavel.
Pavel?
I will give you $1 if you can guess who a famous movie character his first name was Pavel. You'll never guess.
Okay. I don't know.
He's a character in the movie Star Trek. No.
Ooh, which one?
Any of them.
Khan? Pavel Khan?
I don't think we ever found out what Khan's first name was. It was probably like Bill. Maurice Khan. No. Pavel? Lieutenant Pavel? Chekhov. Pavel Chekhov. There you go. Little Star Trek trivia for you guys. And Dalva is here. Jeff. Konoth, you jerk. We saw your card. We saw your mean-spirited bingo card. I'm going to post it, though, so people can play CultCast bingo. Let's go to a little shot of L. Canester looking bored. Hey, Leander, what's going on? Leander, you want to put on your shooting glasses again?
Well, I can't see anything if I do.
Oh, you can't? Okay. I thought you had to wear them for the show.
I'll try. Well, my eyes are starting to bug me, so yeah,
Okay.
maybe.
Doesn't Leander look like he's getting ready to go to the range and fire
Pop
off
a few
some,
lines.
pop off a few shots? I had a picture of Osama bin Laden.
That's just a picture of you.
I was just gonna say. The picture goes like cruises up to the front, and it's like right in my forehead. All the bullets just went right straight through. There's not even like multiple shots. It's all just straight through the forehead. All right. Is there a Airfon talks about a chicken box? There should be, because that chicken segment got huge ratings. If you guys really want to die of cuteness overload, I'll go grab Flower or Beauty, my rabbits, and I'll bring them in here, and you guys will literally die.
Yeah.
They're a
Get
little
all
bit
the
more.
animals, round them up.
They're a little bit more nervous, but I could probably crack open the door back here, and a little lady will walk in.
Yeah, I see it.
Is she out in the yard? She's probably out there right now. I went out there the other day, and she laid an egg out there for me. Isn't that weird?
Sure it was an egg.
Just right in front of you.
Well, I didn't see it happen, but yeah, it was right outside my door. She just laid an egg and then left.
Huh. They
Yeah.
just leave them wherever they
and
want.
that's-
Don't they put them in a nest?
not a
Well,
euphemism?
they'll make like a little nest for themselves somewhere, and then they'll just pop out an egg and leave. Can you imagine if you had to do that as part of your day? It's like, ugh, I'll be right back. Egg comes out, leave it sitting there.
Edible kidney stone.
Leander's like, I did that 4 times a day.
I was gonna say,
In fact, that's why we're late.
do they lay eggs every day?
Pretty much this time of year, they pretty much lay eggs at least once a day. Sometimes twice a day. Any Mac news?
No.
Shut up, Faye. Get out of here. You want Mac news? Get the heck out of here. All right, we're gonna get started on Apple news. Oh my, we got some stuff to talk about this week. We have got some stuff to talk about this week, but I'm not gonna do it and then do it again and repeat myself. So let me go ahead and cue up Mrs. You know who? Where is she? Mrs. D. Are you ready to begin, Mrs. D? What are you talking about? Eggs. I love eggs.
Crossover.
Did you know that rubbing some eggs on your skin will make it nice and supple? I did not know that, Mrs. D. I will have to give that a try, especially the yolk. Big fan of the yolk. Okay, well, that's a little oddly specific, but if you're ready here, we've lost about half of our listeners and viewers. I think it's time to get the show rolling. I'm ready when you are. Okay, let me cue up the music here, Mrs. D, and pull up my my intro. What a wonderful British accent Mrs. D has. Don't you guys agree?
No.
Just really beautiful British
So
accent.
legit.
What part of beautiful England would you say that accent is from, Lander? Should I get her? What a flatterer. What part of the UK would you say that's from?
San Francisco?
San Francisco, England. Okay.
Did you hear that? What's his face? Who's the royal? He now has an American accent apparently.
Oh, give me a break.
What's his
Harry?
face? Harry, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, hey, yo, this is Harry. Harry from the UK. Well, he's been living in LA, right?
I think he lives in Santa Barbara, doesn't he?
No. He's probably out there on the basketball courts trying to shoot some hoops with the common folk. Okay.
Right.
We got to get this show rolling because it's almost 1 and we haven't even started.
What is going on?
I don't know anymore. All right. I think we're good to go. Let's just see what happens. Hello and welcome to CultCast, the best 30+ minute Apple conversation you're gonna hear all week long. I'm your host, Arafon Elijah. Joining me today, he's the author of 6 groundbreaking Apple books, king of the Apple news, and 10-time winner of the UK's ale shotgunning national championships. Is the Lord of Cultamac. Leander Katie's here.
Hey,
Also with us, revered technology editor, unapologetic disciplinarian. He's currently the defendant in a silly lawsuit with some Cultamac writers alleging harsh working conditions. Strangely, those writers seem to have disappeared, and so the case will probably have to be thrown out. He's the managing editor of Cultamac. Lewis Wallace is here.
No comment.
They said that
taking the fifth.
that your car was found outside several of the homes of the Cultamac writers that disappeared. Any comment on that, Lewis?
No comment.
That's odd coincidence.
I have no comment at this time.
I think that's probably the smart legal strategy there. I mean, not because you are going to say anything to incriminate yourself, but you just want to be careful in these kinds of situations. You know, since it is a criminal case, and you could go to the slammer for 30 years, but at least you'll have company every now and again when they throw Leander in there. He usually only stays for 1 or 2 nights, but maybe you guys could share a cell when he comes to visit. All right, guys, we got a lot of stuff to talk about this week, and as you saw from the title, I think we have a pretty good case that Apple is making a full-on portable gaming console to compete, that may compete with the Nintendo Switch. I know this sounds crazy, but as I often do here on this program, I have reached out all over to pull in the clues, to bring them all together, to show you the puzzle that I think I have fully assembled, and to give you insight into the mind of TC. No one does this but us. You think the guys at The Verge are doing this? Give me a break. We're going to show you exactly why I think Apple is going to release a portable gaming console. I think there's too much smoke for this to not be true. We also have some new news on upcoming MacBooks with well, with different color schemes. You're going to be real excited to see these. Lewis is going to tell us all about them. And reviews on the M1 iMac, which, spoiler alert, is an absolute monster. So before we dive into all the fun, let me go ahead and toss it over to old Lewis Wallace to talk about the Cult of Mac store, Lewis? Yes? And the giveaway, right? You want to mention the giveaway, too.
Holy moly! I think Leander should talk about it, man. He's the one with the juke band on his. I think that's what it is.
Oh,
on
my
your wrist,
goodness.
is it not?
Let's have a peek at that juke
Is that
band,
what that
Leander.
is? Yeah.
This is a juke band. It's not the one we're giving away, but it's a similar one.
Like the
Made out of
Iron
same
Man
material,
edition or
aluminum.
something.
Look how hot that is. Isn't that wonderful?
That is
I
hot.
love those
That is
things.
hot. Yep.
Yeah, so we're giving away a high-end chrono watch band from Duke, which is a Hong Kong-based, luxury Apple Watch strap manufacturer. And in fact, we're giving away two.
Oh,
And they're the Chrono straps, which in cosmic gray. The Chrono is kind of like this, but it has 3 or 4 different segments. It's a really, really nice band.
I'm
Super,
showing
super
it right
nice,
now,
like,
Leander.
really high quality.
They can see it as you speak.
Wow.
Oh, look
It's
at
a-
that
yeah.
picture. There it is.
And-
Beautiful.
Are Cult of Mac employees allowed to win? I can't
To
remember.
answer, no, unfortunately not. Yeah, it's giving away 2 of these. They are. Hold on, I can't read because I got my glasses on.
I can't read because my
That makes
glasses
a lot
are
of
on. Yeah.
sense.
The Chronobot, it's a good-looking watch band. It's made from 6000 series hard anodized aluminum, and it's the same alloy that's used in aircraft and automotive and nautical industries. It gives it a really high strength-to-weight ratio, but makes it like really light and durable at the same time. So 2 of these, go to the site, look for the Cult of Mac giveaway, and sign up. Yeah, we're going to be giving away 2 of these, 2 Chrono bands from Duke.
BEA beautiful. And also, if you're looking for other different kinds of accessories for your Apple Watch, your Mac, your iMac, whatever you got. Oh, that's not the page. Here's the page. Right there. I mean that is the page if you want a beautiful coat cloth.
Just give him
But,
an amp. Oh.
So, clicked on the wrong page there. Head on over to store.cultamac.com. Look at all these beautiful products. Just a beautiful selection of curated products that will accessorize your Apple products that you love. Cases, chargers, bands, all sorts of bands. A great pantheon of bands. Leather products, rich mahogany, you name it. At all at
Mahogany.
fair what?
Rich mahogany.
Any there was a
Sounds-
there was an Apple Watch band made of rich mahogany, wasn't there? Thought I saw something.
Oh yeah, we've got a couple. Yeah, we've got some
See?
nice
Yeah.
hardwood bands.
Yeah, see?
Yeah,
There you
they're
go.
nice too.
Store.cultofmac.com, store.cultofmac.com. Okay, Lewis, I think I'm sending it back to you again to talk about this first story, which
I parry this one off as well too. Make Leander do it.
I don't think that that's going to work out too well since he's not prepped on this story. So if you want to see him
All
frozen in
right,
fear, then please do that. But otherwise, I think you should take the story.
Well, okay. Apple plans to release a surprisingly thin MacBook Air in the same colors as the current iMacs, according to, you guessed it, leaker Jon Prosser. He put out a video this week, and in that video he said that a source gave him images of a blue version of this new MacBook Air, and that they claimed they'd seen a green one as well in person. And apparently these colors are close, if not identical, to the shades seen in the stands of the 24-inch iMacs, which look awesome. So Prosser did what he has been doing, which is he takes these images and then he shares them with somebody who creates renders. In this case, renders are created by Ian Zelbo, who renders by Ian. And this laptop looks really thin. I don't know if you saw these, but it looks similar to the two iPad Pros or something. It's got the solid straight lines and no taper. So it's not like a wedge shaped thing now. It's like
It's totally flat.
yeah,
And how thin? Really, really thin?
extremely thin. Really, really. Is that
Precise
one of the bingo
measurement, yeah.
cards there? Really, really. Yeah. Let's see. 2 USB-C ports, and Prosser says, okay, this is a little bit of guesswork. One of the things that he was not that sure about is the bezels on the front of this thing, and he said the one thing he's sure of is that the bezels are white, which is kind of honestly looks a little odd. But he says he's not sure about the size of those. He's not sure exactly, what the final product's going to look like. But anyway, that's this guy, Ian Zelbo, renders by Ian. He put together several. If you go look, there's like different colors and all these different angles of it. And it looks like a pretty hot machine. It's got a different, no touch bar, bigger function keys that kind of, I don't know. I guess that it ends up making the trackpad a little bit smaller. But anyway, there you go. That's our best look at it, supposedly at the new MacBook Air that supposedly, I think Prosser said if that's coming at all this year, it won't be till late this year. So, don't get your hopes up.
I really like the white keyboard. They're bringing back the white keyboard. I think that's a fresh look. And some people were wondering if it was going to get dirty, but I guess Apple applies some kind of coating to the keyboard to make it so that dirt and grime and Cheeto dust and all that kind of stuff can't permeate the coating on the keyboard.
Yeah,
but
that's the first thing I thought, though, was like, man, that's going to look dirty.
Yeah, it's going to get dirty really fast. Well, that one looks great. See, look at that.
It doesn't look too bad. I just cleaned it up. It did look like
he's holding up his Apple Magic keyboard, by the way.
Dumpster. Oh, there you go. CultCast bingo. Some noisy bingo.
That always gets checked off early. Some guy going by on a Harley Davidson. Let's hear. Was there anything else from this story that we wanted to mention, Lewis? I feel like there might have been something else, but maybe that was it. Yeah, okay.
No rubber feet, just rubber strips on the bottom.
Yeah. So that's kind of
different looking.
Yeah. So if you look at the bottom of the computer here, which I'll show here, and if you're listening, you can imagine. So instead of having those 4 little rubber dots, it has these 2 elongated strips that run the width of the body, or the depth of the body, I should say, the length of the body. I'm not sure which is which. And I think it looks kind of weird. I actually don't really like the way that it looks.
Doesn't the mouse, the Magic Mouse, doesn't that have 2 strips like that?
I think you're right. Yeah, except they're smooth and not grippy. But I think it looks kind of odd. Now, how often do you look at the bottom of your Mac? Never. So does it really matter? No, it doesn't. But I still don't really like the way that it looks. But I heard they were doing this so that they could make the computer as flat as possible. But and then they will be available in all the colors, according to Prosser, that are available on the new iMac, which you would expect Apple to bring those colors across the entire line. So a bunch of really beautiful pastel colors, if you ask me.
I'll tell you what, those rubber strips, if those are on there, that's going to be like, dead accurate leak. Or if it's not, it's going to be completely wrong, right? I mean, there's no wiggle room on that because that is completely weird and different.
I think that was the one part of I'd have to read this. I thought this was the one part of the Mac that he did see. So he did mention that there are parts of this Mac that he didn't see, and they basically just had to extrapolate and see and create something just to kind of give a full render. So some of this stuff may not be accurate, but he thinks it's pretty close. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's just, I think he did say, we got a pretty good look at the bottom. So, the other thing that we got a hold of Ian Zelbo, the guy who made the renders, and he's we did an interview with him. He's on in one of our setups posts where he told us about the gear he uses to do these, the software he uses, some sort of tips and secrets he does to make these things look as Apple-like as possible. And maybe the most surprising thing, I mean, if you know the guy, you maybe already know this, but he's 17 years old. Kid lives in New York. He's making these things. He's made renders for a variety of people who are into the sort of Apple leak ecosystem, and kind of a rising star.
Talented
he's all
kid.
excited because he went to 3,000 Twitter followers to, like, in a couple of days later he had 5,000 Twitter. So he's shooting to the top.
It's actually a really cool story. I'll post it in the chat and in the show notes if you guys want to check it out. It's all about this kid, and he talks about his process and how he got into this. I think the most surprising thing is he said he started doing this in July. So he hasn't even been doing this a year, and he's already more talented. He's more talented than all 3 of us put together.
And he's got a burgeoning little 3D rendering business for all kinds of YouTube and web leakers.
Yeah, and he goes through his process and talks about how he learned how to do a lot of this stuff. So if you're interested in figuring out how to make renders, this is actually, there's a lot of great information you can glean out of this article. He talks about other creators that he was inspired by who helped him figure out how to make a lot of these renders. But I think the part that was most impressive besides the fact that he learned all this in like 8 months, is that he basically, so he learned how to use Blender, which is what he uses to make all of these different renders. But Blender's just a tool, right? He had to figure out Apple's style, and he said he basically just went through and watched like tons of keynotes and looked at tons of renders to get a sense of how Apple creates their how they make their renders or take their screenshots or their marketing images of their products, so that he could build that style into his renders, which, you know, if you look at his renders, they look like something that Apple created. These renders look fantastic. They look real. If they didn't have Prosser's name and Ian's name across the front of them, then you would think that they were actually made by Apple. So they look really good. So if you want to check out that article, I'll link to it in the show notes. And also in the chat, if you guys want to check that out. And let's talk about the M1 iMacs now, Leander. We got some benchmarks. They're out. Some people,
the early benchmarks,
not super impressed, but I actually thought this machine looked darn good, if you'll excuse the parlance.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we're going to get one next week, next Friday. We've got one on order.
Oh, we do. Hopefully it's for you. Is it for Lewis? I hope. So he will stop complaining. So he will freaking stop complaining about how his Mac doesn't work for 10 minutes before every show.
No, unfortunately it's not. My machine went TITS up this week.
Oh, it did?
Oh, I had to waste a whole day messing with it. In fact, 2 days almost. But and then it actually kind of fixed itself. I don't know what the heck. But anyway, it was in the black screen of death. It kept, every time I booted it up, it would do, you know, your Mac's being restarted for some problem. And I couldn't really get anywhere. Anyway, so people were hoping that the new M1 was going to supercharge the iMac. You know, for some reason they thought that because this M1 is coming out a little bit later than the M1 machines that were released in 2020, that maybe it would be clocked higher, maybe a higher clock speed or something like that. But the benchmarks, it looks like it's almost exactly the same speed as the other M1 Macs released in 2020, but no faster. So that was kind of a bit of a disappointment for people, I think, holding out for that. So the previous generation high-end 21.5-inch iMac, which has had an Intel chip, has a single core Geekbench score of 1,109 and a multi-core score of 6,014. That means the M1 iMac single core score is. Hold on, this is all garbled.
It's making my head hurt.
Yeah, because this is all rubbish. Who made these notes?
It may have been me.
This doesn't make any sense.
Just say a bunch of random numbers. 2, 6, 2, 9, 1, 2, 3.
No, it makes perfect sense. So the M1 iMac is 56% faster in single core score than the 20.
That's the previous sentence.
Oh,
anyway,
the previous sentence? Okay.
It's 50. Anyway, it turns out it's 56% faster than the 2019 Intel iMac.
In single core score. In single core. Yeah.
And 24% faster in multi-core.
Yeah.
Apple doesn't discuss the clock speed of the M1 chip, but it's kind of no surprise really. It's the same speed. Anyway, so compared to the 10th generation Comet Lake Intel chip and the high-end 27-inch iMac, the M1 Mac did pretty well. The M1 iMac's single-core performance is 38% faster than the Comet Lake chip, but the Intel iMac's multi-core performance is 25% faster.
Allow me to summarize why I think that the title of this shouldn't be M1 iMac can't match fastest Intel Macs in early benchmarks, but it should say the M1 iMac is almost as fast as the high-end iMac. So the long and short of this is the new M1 iMac blows away the cheaper iMacs, right? So that part is impressive, but it also outperforms the high-end previous generation iMac. I guess, well, it's not previous generation yet, the Intel higher-end iMac. It blows away the single-core score, and it's pretty close to the multi-core score. So the high-end iMac costs what? I don't know, $2,800, I'm guessing. I don't remember exactly how much it costs. And the $1,300 M1 iMac is almost as fast. I think that is a massive achievement for a computer that is like 1/3 the price to be, I'm going to do the math on the fly, which is always a mistake, 85% of the speed.
Well, you already garbled the price. It's about half the price. But How many cores does the Intel Comet Lake have?
I'd have to look that up. I'm gonna guess 10, but I'd have to look.
What?
Yeah, I'd have to look. I don't have the core amounts just off the top of my head.
I thought you knew it off the top of your head.
Not for the Comet Lake. I haven't really been following the Comet Lake developments. I've been more interested in the
yeah,
the M1 and the M2. Yeah, go ahead.
$1,200 machine. I mean, kind of amazing. The performance. It really is like you said, a big leap.
Yeah, it's a massive leap forward. So that was my only point, and one of the reasons why I thought it would be interesting to talk about this is the fact that you can spend now $1,300 and get a machine that will absolutely destroy the previous generation of iMacs, the lower cost ones, right, the non-performance machines. But then the higher end, it gets pretty close. And I actually think that is kind of the through line with all of these M1 Macs is they are budget machines. They've only really released their budget machines so far. Well, they have only released their budget machines. The pro level machines are still upcoming, and I think those are going to be absolutely insane because the M1 Macs they've released so far, even though they're budget priced, are performing at levels that the previous performance machines were performing at. So the level of performance has jumped exceedingly, and we haven't gotten a replacement for the higher end iMac, the Intel iMac yet. So that is on the way, and they're going to replace it with something, and it can't be the M1. Maybe it will be the M2. We've talked about this before. Maybe the M1X, which I think they're probably going to end up putting in there like a faster version of the M1, which a lot of rumors have pointed to. And that thing is just going to absolutely destroy. And I think we're going to hear about those sometime soon. I'm hoping sometime soon because that's the one that I'm going to be waiting for.
DC, right? It's not going to be the.
That's where all the eyes are. Yeah.
In June, and that's only a month away.
Oh man, that's only a month away. That's crazy. Yeah, I guess that's right around the corner. So, and that may not be the only thing that's announced at WWDC. We'll see. We have some. Actually, we might be getting there right now. Look at that segue.
Wow, are you a professional?
We're there already. Some have incorrectly called me that before. I think that's a fair title, actually. All right, let's talk about this sketchy rumor, which some of you are not going to believe, but I'm going to walk you through this, and we're going to try to make a case here on why Apple may be developing a portable gaming console in line with the Nintendo Switch, which I know sounds crazy, but I'm going to walk you through the details here, and by the end of this, I'm going to wow you, and I think you're going to come around to my line of thinking here, all right? So, sketchy rumor claims Apple is developing a Nintendo Switch-style gaming console. According to a post on a Korean forum shared by Twitter user Fronttron, Apple is developing a portable hybrid games console comparable to the Nintendo Switch. While the sourcing of the rumor is suspect, it has gained some visibility in larger news outlets over the past day or two, so we figured it was at least acknowledging. The device will apparently feature an entirely new Apple-designed application processor. Neglecting to use an A-series or M-series chip, the chip appears to be specifically designed for gaming and is said to feature an enhanced GPU performance with ray tracing. Apple is purported to currently be in negotiations with a number of well-known video game studios, including Ubisoft and, let's see here. I thought it was also like EA or something, but I don't see them in here. Maybe it was just Ubisoft. So, now, the gaming prowess of the current MacBook, or the current Apple TV, is lacking. You can't do real gaming on the new Apple TV. The new Apple TV was more than anything else. It was more of just a controller update. They changed the controller, they made it bigger, and they added more buttons and stuff. But they actually removed some of the sensors from the controller, so it's actually not as adept at gaming as the previous Apple TV controller, okay? Let's see here. There was a rumor in 2019 that you guys may remember from a Twitter leaker named Fudge that Apple was working on a new Apple TV with an A12 chip and a more powerful one with an A14X-like chip. He also mentioned that there was going to be a new controller of some kind. And a Twitter user asked him, like, are you talking about like an Apple TV controller? And he said, no, it's going to be a game controller. Okay. So fast forward 2 years, what did we just get? We just got a new Apple TV with an A12, right? So he was right about that. So where is the other A14 packed Apple TV that we're getting? Well, that's where things start to get interesting. He also mentioned that he heard that an A14X-like Apple TV model has been sent to developers for testing, right? And that's very common in the gaming industry. They get some kind of like developer model that they can test games out on, because developing games takes years, and so they need access to the hardware so that they can start building their games. And we just heard that Apple is reportedly negotiating with major game manufacturers like Ubisoft to build out games. They're not going to be putting Ubisoft games on a freaking Apple TV. That's not happening. That wouldn't make any sense at all. And we also know from this past story, from let's see here, Bloomberg. Can I pull this up here? Boom. I'm going to Bloomberg, but I'm going to read you the quote. This is from Gurman for next year. Now, he wrote this in 2020. For next year, Apple is planning an upgraded box with a stronger gaming focus and an updated remote and a new processor. Now, would you say that the new Apple TV is more gaming focused? No. It has nothing really exceptional for gaming more than the previous Apple TV. It's just got a better remote and it's got better HDR, but no gaming specific features that are of note. So it seems like we're still waiting for some kind of gaming-centric Apple TV to be released. Now, let's go to this other story. And this is going to seal it all up for you guys, okay? I hope you're ready. Now, I'll have you know the last time I did this, my analysis led to the exact product that we thought was going to happen. That was the new iMacs. So, this is from TechCrunch. This is from 2019. Apple said to be spending more than $500 million on arcade gaming subscription effort. $500 million. That is a absolutely massive venture. Do you think Apple is going to be spending $500 million on Apple Arcade to have you gaming on an Apple TV? I just don't buy it. And the evidence of gaming, let me back up. The ability of the current Apple TV to be a gaming console really doesn't seem to be there. So it seems like Apple is working on something, and according to Fudge, they are working on something that is going to be gaming focused. Now, if you're not familiar with the Nintendo Switch, that console has been an absolutely massive runaway train hit for Nintendo. And it was really ingenious. I can't believe that no one thought about this before. The Nintendo Switch, if you're not familiar, I'm sure most of you are, but for those of you that aren't, it is a gaming console that you can take with you and play portable games on. So it has 2 controllers built in and a screen in the middle. And then when you plug it into the included dock, it supercharges the graphics because it has access to more power and will show the content of the game on your television. And so it's both a regular console and a portable console. And it's making Nintendo a freaking wheelbarrow full of money. Multiple wheelbarrows full, like cargo trains full.
And one wheelbarrow.
And it's not just one wheelbarrow, Lewis. It's multiple wheelbarrows full of money. And we know that TC loves multiple wheelbarrows full of money. And Apple's trying to get into the gaming space. We keep hearing all these rumors about it. Well, they clearly have the technology to build something like a portable gaming console. We know that they're making a huge push into gaming with this $500 million investment in Apple Arcade, which really hasn't come to fruition yet. We have rumors that they're building a gaming-focused Apple TV. We have some rumors that they've already given this, whatever it is, this Apple TV gaming-focused hardware to developers for testing. They're talking, purportedly, with big developers like Ubisoft. It seems to me like we may actually get a portable Apple gaming console of some kind.
I'm
Like
completely unconvinced.
Your Honor, I rest my case. If this microphone wasn't attached to this arm, I would pull it off and throw it on the ground, and I would leave because I think my contribution to this program is now complete.
Wow, you've dug up a whole bunch of sketchy rumors for the last 3 years and put it together into some package of a big nothing burger.
Now,
Spicy
a big
burrito.
nothing burger. Let's see here. Rob Jackson, I'm with LK. Well, you know what? You get the heck out of here, Rob. Because I think that I have
Are you
shown
gonna ban him?
instrumental. Well, where's Zach Hicks when you need him? Zach, get Rob Jackson out of here. Kick him out. Can you ban him? Can we do a permanent ban on him? And I want you to go to his house and rough him up physically, okay? Can we loop in his IP address and figure out where he lives? We need to cross-triangulate that. We'll do that later. So this is certainly by no means conclusive evidence, but there's obviously some smoke here. And I think more than anything else, okay?
That's the only smoke we're getting.
And I know that Leander likes things that smoke. So, more than anything else, the $500 million investment by Apple. Where is this? I'm going back to it in browser mode. The $500 million investment by Apple into Apple Arcade. That's a massive investment. So, to me, this indicates they're not just going to be having you play games on your Mac and play games on your Apple TV. That just does not make any sense. They really need to push into gaming and give gamers a piece of technology that is gaming focused. And funny enough, the Nintendo Switch is built with ARM components. Apple's moving to ARM. So it really kind of makes a lot of sense that they would do something like this. This would give them this would be a huge move of Apple into the actual gaming ecosystem. And not have it be.
Don't we already have a Switch-like device?
Does Apple?
I mean, isn't this kind of you can't dock it with your TV, but doesn't the iPad and the iPhone, doesn't that kind of count as a Switch-like device? You can buy a controller, that will give you those Switch-like controls. You have the games on Apple Arcade.
Yeah, but according to the rumors that we've seen, whatever the console this is that they're developing. It's going to be custom made for games. So it's going to be more powerful specifically for gaming. And it will have some kind of controller either built in or available for you to purchase. And form factor makes a big difference. I mean, can you game on a phone? Yeah. But for some reason, that's not really taking off. People don't take the phone seriously as a gaming console. They don't take iPad seriously as a gaming console. They don't take Mac seriously as a gaming console. But what if Apple made a gaming-specific hardware which was ergonomically and technologically created specifically for gaming? That's its focus. That's like a PlayStation or an Xbox.
It's a massive industry, isn't it? I mean, and there's a like you said, a ton of money there, and it does seem kind of strange that Apple hasn't never really competed in that. I mean, the last time they tried to make a console was the Pippin, back in the late '90s, and was that with Bandai. Right?
That was Bandai Namco, I think.
Yeah.
I think Bandai Namco is the one that manufactured it, aren't they?
Sounds right.
I'd have to go back and do my research. But yeah, in any case, I think that's the direction that we're heading. And I haven't read the chat yet, but from all of the activity I see going on, I think everyone agrees. Everyone agrees with me. I can't be sure of that, though, because the chat's too far away. Yeah, what?
Is that going to be the name then? Pippin 2? Pippin Pro?
That would be incredible.
Pippin Pro Max.
The Pippin Pro.
Pimpin. Pimpin.
God, that would be incredible. The thing is, though, the surprising thing is the Nintendo Switch is such a fantastic console. And I'm puzzled as to why Nintendo or why Microsoft and PlayStation have not built a similar console. Now, PlayStation has had portable consoles before. But the magic of the Nintendo Switch is you can plug it very easily into your TV and game on it on your TV or take it with you on the go. It just seems like such an obvious idea, and yet Nintendo is the only one making it, and they are making truckloads and wheelbarrows full of money because people love the Switch. And Apple could get into this market, and it's a huge, huge industry. Gaming is a huge industry, especially now with all of the pandemic stuff going on. Gaming has just been a boon. People are buying games and consoles. You can't even find a Nintendo Switch anywhere because they're constantly sold out.
One?
Yeah, I got one, but I got one in 2017 when it first came out. But good luck finding one now, Lewis.
Is it hot because of the console itself or the device itself, or is it hot because of the games?
Well, all of the above. The console's fantastic. It's fun. The OS is fun. Everything about it is designed to make you feel like a kid using it. It's got lots of fun sound effects. It's easy to use. But then the game library, of course, is what really sells it. You have to have games that draw in the consumers, and Nintendo has some of the best games being made today.
They're pretty good at that, right?
They are, especially now. I think that they're in like in a new renaissance. They're making some of the best games they've ever made.
Wouldn't that be the problem facing Apple? Is to get those killer games and to get those exclusives for an Apple console from people like EA or Ubisoft or other big games manufacturers.
Yeah, which we go back to the rumor that they're in discussion with Ubisoft, which is one of the biggest ones. I'm sure they're in talks with. Now I have no inside information that this is true, but I'm sure they've talked with the EA. They've probably talked with Activision. They're probably talking with all the big gaming publishers, because you need to have the game library to have the hardware succeed. You got to have games and preferably exclusive games.
Right. It's got to be exclusive, isn't it? Because otherwise it doesn't make any sense, right?
Or at least timed exclusives, things that will be first on Apple. And look at what Apple's doing with Apple TV. Why would they not be doing this with gaming? Clearly they're interested in gaming. They've made a huge investment in it. Why would they not be doing this with gaming? Clearly they are. So I think we just haven't seen the fruit of their groundwork yet. They're still in the groundwork phase. And eventually, it's like bamboo, right? You plant it doesn't do anything for a long time because its roots are going everywhere and invading your entire property. And then you see a sprout pop up and you're like, oh, look at that. And then 100 other thousand sprouts pop up because it's invaded your whole property. And now all of a sudden it's in your yard. You can't get rid of it.
The bambooed analogy. Yeah.
You got bambooed. You got bamboozled. So if we are going to see Apple TV, Apple Arcade stuff announced, it's going to be soon. I think potentially maybe even at WWDC. Now, we may not ever hear anything about this, but clearly it's something that Apple's very interested in. Did I convince you, Lewis?
Don't know.
Oh.
That first rumor, wow, I read the translation. You talk about sketchy. I mean, gee whiz. Did you read it?
None of the original Korean, no.
Leander's Korean is somewhat rusty.
And this guy, what kind of record does this guy have? He popped fudge. He popped up 2 years ago and said they were going to put an A14 chip in the Apple TV, which I guess at that time that's some pretty amazing prognostication when they've been putting those A series chips into the previous hardware. So, that part I think is predictable, but the second part, I don't know.
Okay. I'm going to let's see here. I'm going to Apple Track, and let's see if he's on here. I think he is. Mac Rumors. No, I don't see him on here, but I think he is on here somewhere.
Yeah, right at the very bottom.
There he is. List. There he is. He's 79.3% according to Apple Track for 29 rumors. So that's not nothing.
Okay, not bad. I take it back.
So he's not at the bottom, but he's certainly... Well, he doesn't have a lot of rumors under his belt. I think that's the big problem. But he's got some, and he's got almost 80% for his track record so far. And you got to keep in mind, I mean, he said that we were going to get an Apple TV with an A12, and I think this was 2 years ago. And then it happened. 2 years later, it happened. Now, that's a pretty profound prediction 2 years ahead of time to know what chip is going to be going into what, because Apple could use any chip. An Apple TV is not like an iPhone. They're not going to always put the most cutting edge technology into it. So for you to guess that it's going to have an A12, it seems like you have a specific piece of knowledge there and that you've been provided. Otherwise, you might guess it would be some kind of newer chip, right? Because the A12
or was that just the chip that was next up at the time?
Well, I think the previous Apple TV, had the A10. I'd have to look into that. I think it was the A10. So I don't know. Maybe he just got lucky.
What I mean? Like, when was this? 2019, and he said A12, and when did it come out?
Well, I don't know. Last month.
So that was my thought. Is that like he was just saying, it's like saying, oh look, the next Apple iPhone is going to have the A15 chip in it, right? Which doesn't seem to be much of a leap.
Well, look,
I can't remember 2 years ago what was in what.
Yeah, me either. But we have I can't believe this is happening live on the show. We have a hot tip from someone in the chat. Rob Jackson says, I think we'll get an M3 in the Mac in 2025.
There you go.
Guys, we gotta go. We gotta print this on
Get him on
Cultamac right
Apple
now.
Track.
We gotta get this on Cultamac ASAP. That is one of the funny things about Apple rumors, isn't it? It's like you'll get these prognostications sometimes from the most random sources, and yet they will still get attention just because people are so hungry for this kind of information. Konoth says he's one spot away from bingo. Well, you know what? I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up there, Konoth, because I'm not gonna give you the satisfaction of getting a bingo when I say the word apropos. Oh, dang it! I did it! Bingo! All right, guys. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up there because we cruised through everything. That's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week. I feel like we did that really fast once we actually went live. But anyway, all right. If you want the CultCast to continue, we're all on Twitter. I'm at Erfon, ERFON. Leander's at LK. Lewis is at Lewis Wallace. This is the CultCast, the best 30-plus Apple conversation. The best 30-plus Apple minute conversation you're going to hear all week long. See, the wheels are falling off. New episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night. I want to thank everyone for listening and watching live. And we'll see you guys next time. I feel like the wheels are off and they're rolling down the freeway next to us. Like we're still in the car, sparks are flying out, and then you look to your left, you look to your right, and out the window you can see the wheels, and they're actually passing you, and now they're ahead of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shout out to Ulysses. I'll see you later, man. Dang, Konoth, you needed something else. That's fine. I take great satisfaction in knowing that I didn't give you your bingo.
He didn't get the bingo?
He didn't get the bingo.
So it wasn't apropos?
I must have said apropos earlier in the show. He must have got that.
What was the missing one?
Konoth, what was it? Now we gotta know. Hurry up, you got about 5 seconds before the music stops. No, nothing. He's disappeared.
Left in disgust.
Right. He's never gonna listen to this show again.
Oh gosh. Voice impression. Someone needs to do a voice impression for Konoth. No, I'm not going to. I'm hovering over the end stream button now, Konoth. You go suck it.